Thanks for listening. This is our podcast. It's not going to be a long one because I've been going through some stuff, and it's amazing I've been able to manage to get 5 minutes out. Several years ago, there was a fire here in Southern California that pretty much burned up a lot of landmass north of Los Angeles. Million, Millions of dollars worth of homes were threatened by a very, very uh, rampaging uh, fire. And when you're in that situation, you need to get supplies, batteries, and all sorts of things. Extra food because you may not be able to cook because either power will be out because of the fires, or your home may be burnt down because of the fires. Which means that in that situation, you would have to go to the store. And the closest store in that area was a Ralph's. Ralph's is a Southern California chain of supermarkets owned by the Kroger Company. And during that time, the employees of not only that Kroger's, but every Kroger, every Albertsons, every Vaughn's, every major supermarket in Southern California were on strike. And people needed to get to a store and get emergency provisions. Now, I thought at the time that, we'll worry about the strike tomorrow. Your neighbors are in trouble. Your neighbors need help. But unfortunately, the people who are striking, legally they couldn't keep anybody from going into the store. But they certainly harassed them going in and harassed them going out. How dare you cross a picket line, even though, your home is about to burn down and you need emergency supplies? How dare you cross that picket line? And the people that they were striking against didn't make things any better either because they were closing stores, really early. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. People needed to go and get provisions now. Now being, say, 11:30 at night. 1 o'clock in the morning. This is more than just an inconvenience. Imagine you needed emergency supplies and you couldn't get there because a whole lot of people were waving signs outside trying to persuade you heavily not to go in, and the people inside, A, didn't know what they were doing, and B, they were going to lock up anyway when you needed that store open in the first place. A few weeks later, the strike was settled, and what happened was what usually happens. The strikers and management locked arm in arm, bought a lot of full-page ads saying, "Hey, we're back. Thank you for bearing with us. We're back better than ever. Welcome." Neither one of those sides ever said the word, "I'm sorry." And that's where we are right now here in Southern California. We got another big strike. This time, writers and actors striking against the studios and the networks and the streaming services. And everybody's digging in for a long strike. And I would be on the side of labor at this point because labor, because there are a lot of corporations that are making a ton of money, and some of that money should be shared with the writers and the actors. But here's the problem I'm having. Just like with every other strike I've ever had to deal with, I am the victim. I don't like victimizing myself. But think about this. The people who, in that situation, who needed those emergency supplies, couldn't get into the store or couldn't get out of the store or whatever it is. They could not get the supplies because one site was striking and the other site was closing because of the strike. Same things going on with this job action by writers and actors against the studios and the networks. And just like that time, this time, both sides seem to forget one thing. Us. The people who buy the tickets to go see your crappy movies, the people who pay hundreds of dollars every month to pay for the streaming services, the people who buy products advertised on network television programs. We are the ones who are going to be really inconvenienced by all this. Meanwhile, in the big corporate offices, they're gearing up for a long strike, and outside, the strikers are holding the signs saying, "Don't get me, I'm part of the union." And just like the last time, I'm going to guarantee you that when they finally decide to act like adults and figure this thing out, and they sign the papers, they'll post big full-page ads in newspapers that nobody reads, by the way, saying, "Thank you for your patience. We're back in business." Because neither the actors or the writers or the studio heads or the network heads or the people who run the streaming services, they all have forgotten that it's us who basically pay their salaries by our ticket sales and by our purchasing streaming services and things like that. And the thing that you will not hear from any one of those, not from Zasloff, not from Conover, not from the nanny, not from any of those people, are the words, "I'm sorry. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being the forgotten person in all this." And it's not just during strike time. When they're not having strikes, they never listen to the audience. They never listen to us. They never give shows chances to breathe. They never give movies chances to shine. They never give us the plot points that we want to see. We don't matter to the entertainment industry, those who work for it and those who hire them. The public doesn't matter. Same thing with grocery stores. You don't matter. Same thing with transit strikes and garbage worker strikes and police strikes and all that stuff. You don't matter. And my question is, when will it matter? When are we going to stand up and say, wait a second, maybe you should say, I'm sorry when it's all over. Because maybe this time, if you don't say you're sorry, maybe we will honor the picket lines after the work stoppage. For as long as that work stoppage lasted, maybe it's time that we went on strike against you. Thanks for bearing with us. Follow us wherever we are. You can find out where we are by going to our Linktree, linktree/Radiodon. That's linktr.ee/Radiodon. And we'll talk to you soon.